made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
What rules, you sons of bitches?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the you know the thing.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it, because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
You used the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
agree.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa. They're coming all over the place. Coming all over the place. Coming all over the place. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic program, a programmatic episode of the Above It All broadcast. This is ostensibly a news show, and Maxie is licking my hand for some reason because he's a dog, and that's what dogs do. Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. I'm a little disheveled this morning, so just bear the fuck with me. But I'm petting this dog. Check this out. Maxie. Now he's licking my foot. And so this is the world that I'm living in. And now he's gonna bring down my whole machine. Down with the system. Look at this dog. So this is the Above It All show for September 1. This is September 1. 2022. This is I think I forgot to change the number on that. I think it should be 1669. But it's a show today, and so today is the day that I do the show, and just, you know, I'm a little you know, you ever just like every once in a while you're like, you know, you just get up and you're like, that's me right now. So let me drink some more fucking coffee and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I got a show and I'm doing the show, and for whatever reason, Glam Girl Adel has decided to watch the show today. So thank you, Glam Girl Adel, for being here, and as well as everyone else. But there's also a show going on. Not only is this show happening, but it's also going on. Those are both ways to basically describe the same thing. So where should I start today? I don't even know where to start today. There's so much I want to say. But I don't know where to start. So I've got so much to say, but like it's hard to figure out where to start. So I might as well just not start at all. So I've got choice paralysis. I don't know how to begin the show, and as a result, the show is ending. So thank you all for watching. Just kidding. That's right. A classic troll. Anyway. Smia's gotta run today. What the fuck? Imagine showing up, and then like you're just gonna go away. You know what the fuck? Start with a movie review. I haven't been watching many movies lately. I've been streaming on Twitch with my spare time. Yeah, that's right. I'm a streamer. Eesh, right? Oof. Yikes. I'll start watching movies again at some point, but taking a little break. Anyway, all right, let's I guess let's start off by talking about the goddamn, look at this shit. Okay. So, you know, I want to talk about, this article will give me the opportunity to talk about multiple different things. So the DEA warns of brightly colored fentanyl, quote, used to target young Americans. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration issued a warning Tuesday about brightly colored fentanyl used to target young Americans. The agency said it and its partners in law enforcement seized colored fentanyl and fentanyl pills in 18 states this month, Quote, the trend appears to be a new method used by drug cartels to sell highly addictive and potentially deadly fentanyl made to look like candy to children and young people. The DEA said brightly colored fentanyl is being seized in multiple forms, including pills, powder, and blocks that resemble sidewalk chalk. Despite claims that certain colors may be more potent than others, there is no indication through the DEA's laboratory testing that this is the case. Every color, shape, and size of fentanyl should be considered extremely dangerous. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid intended to help people, such as cancer patients, manage severe pain. It is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. It's used illicitly because of its heroin-like effect, and even small doses can be deadly. Fentanyl remains the deadliest drug threat facing this country, the DEA said. So, fentanyl, a lot of people are discussing fentanyl. It's a big problem. And so I want to put together a little bit of a thought piece here, a little thought experiment. Could we imagine a world where, stuff like heroin was illegal? So, let's imagine stuff like heroin is legal and regulated. Let's imagine opiates are legal and regulated. Would the fentanyl crisis have ever happened if that were the case? No. The fentanyl crisis is a manufactured problem. They made it up. The DEA and the U.S. government created this problem, created this crisis. Why? If people wanted to get high on heroin and they could go to the store, maybe they have to fill out a form, regulate it in some way, maybe make it like you have to be 25, who knows, right? There's all kinds of ways you can regulate it legally. No one would ever get fentanyl. Why? Because there wouldn't be a black market. Why? Because why would there be a black market if you could just go and get the drug you want? Many people die of fentanyl poisoning and overdose because they are trying to buy something else. And what they're getting instead is fentanyl. So let's imagine, you are a heroin addict, right? And you've been using heroin for years and years, and you know exactly what kind of dose you want to get your level of whatever, right? And then you go and buy some heroin, but turns out it's fentanyl. You do your regular dose, but it's fentanyl, not heroin, or it's heroin cut with fentanyl, whatever the potency is higher. You end up overdosing because you miscalculated it, right? So again, I just want to say the DEA and police all across the country are making a huge fucking goddamn stink about fentanyl, and it's a completely manufactured problem. Now again, let's talk about the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. If they were to spend all of their resources on targeting fentanyl and stopping fentanyl from being, transmitted all across the United States, you know what step one of that process would be? Step one would be legalizing and regulating a substance such as heroin or opiates so that people don't actually go to a black market drug dealer and end up getting the wrong product. And oftentimes it's not even the drug dealer's fault. Drug dealers have to get drugs from somewhere, right? Sometimes someone along the process lies to you and it results in people dying, right? So again, cry me a fucking river. The DEA and law enforcement are going to fentanyl's killing our kids. Fentanyl, blah, blah, blah. Young adults are being targeted. I don't know, man. To me, it seems like the solution here is to just legalize and regulate every drug and every type of drug, because then, if that were to happen, things like fentanyl wouldn't fall into young adults' hands. Things like fentanyl wouldn't, result in overdose deaths nearly as much, or if at all. But, again, the DEA makes money. The DEA is a Ponzi scheme. It makes money by creating these fake crises, right, that they get to pretend to manage, and then they get to have these careers in drug enforcement, right? Now, we can look at states like Oregon. States like Oregon have decriminalized possession of all drugs. You can look at the country like Portugal has decriminalized possession of all drugs. And drug overdoses and deaths completely, right, they're almost non-existent in a country like Portugal, right? And so I wonder why that is. Oh, it's because they're doing things properly to manage what people are going through. If someone is addicted to heroin, right, if you're a heroin addict and you want to stop being addicted to heroin, and your options are go through extreme withdrawal, probably end up in the hospital and die, or You just don't stop heroin because there's no way to actually do that without going to jail, right? I don't know, man. To me, it seems like if someone is addicted to a drug and they literally cannot stop, but they want to. Now, if someone doesn't want to, as long as they're not harming anyone else, I don't give a shit. But if someone wants to get off of a substance, they should be allowed and able and capable to go get the help that they need without fucking cops. Like, oh, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get we're gonna throw you in jail. Where'd you get that? Right? You know what I mean? That's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy. So again, this is a manufactured crisis. The DEA and the US government could stop this crisis at any point. But to them, it's fun. They love it. They love feeling powerful and big and strong. Oh, we're the big bad DEA coming in to solve the problem. Except they've always made everything worse since the fucking founding of this institution. So fuck the DEA. All my homies hate the DEA. But Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I mean, like, my God. Like, it's just, again, I talk about this on my show often. But we have so many solutions to problems where it's like, we're not at the stage anymore of human society where it's like we're still figuring out, oh, how do we do this? Oh, what is the best way to go about this? We already have the answers. For stuff like drug overdoses and deaths, we already have the answer. We have the solutions. They're ready. They've been ready for years, decades. Decades that we've had the solutions to these problems, right? It's just that the people in power are like, I make more money if we don't do that. Whatever. Like the solution to climate change. We've had the solution for decades. People in power, whatever. It's like the solution for the food crisis going on in the world. Why are people starving when other people in other countries are throwing food away? I make more money if I do this. Right? Again, the solutions to these major crises have been discovered, and they were discovered decades ago. It's about time that the fucking powerful in this country and in the world actually fucking, do the solutions. I don't know, man. It's weird to me. It is really strange that we live in this kind of fucked up world. I don't know, man. It's really, it kind of freaks me out. I'm not going to lie to you. But either way, the DEA manufacturing more problems, creating more problems than they solve. And let's be honest, the DEA is garbage. There's no such thing as a good DEA agent. They don't exist. There's no such thing as a good cop. They don't exist. Every situation, they make everything worse. Let's just be honest, okay? So, anyway. Legalizing doesn't necessarily totally eliminate black markets of any drug because price is still going to be a factor. Well, the thing is, like, legalizing is a term that, like for example, in California, marijuana was legalized in California, right? But the legalization process for marijuana is so fucked up that there actually were more black market marijuana sales in 2020 and 2021 than there were legal market marijuana sales because the shit is so highly taxed, right? Really only big corporations can become sellers in their price gouging, right? So it creates this room for a black market. When I say legalize a drug, I mean legalize the drug. Like, let's look at a state like Michigan. Michigan has the lowest marijuana prices in the country. Why? Because they legalized it in a pretty good way. Anyone, I haven't, studied the Michigan tax code or the weed code or whatever, all that. But all I know is compared to other states, it's got one of the best legalization programs, right? More people are more able to get involved in the process. Prices are the lowest in any legal market in the country. Why? Because they actually fucking did their work and they actually did it right. Look at a state like New Jersey, right? Which promised to legalize marijuana years ago, and just recently finally got around to it, but it's still kind of that weird big pharma cash grab kind of territory, right? So again, yeah, legalization, the way things are legalized is an extremely important thing, but obviously I'm talking about a little bit more of a utopian kind of thing where it's, again, we already know what to do, it's just that the big and powerful refuse to do it, right? So we need to go after corporations, especially big pharma, because, they buy up all these patents and then they just fucking jack up all the prices. You know what I mean? It's insane. But yeah, California's legalization is a good example of how legalization is honestly kind of garbage. Now, again, it's still better than it being illegal, right? Because, let's say you buy the weed from a black market dealer. Well, Okay, great, you got away with it, but now you're not going to be able to get arrested for buying or carrying weed on you, right? So, it's a little bit of a different story. It's better than the alternative of it being illegal, but, again, people will go like, oh, we legalized it. The work here is done, when in reality, it's not even close to done. But anyway, so that's just one example. Colorado nailed it. Yeah, I don't know much about Colorado's weed laws either. Weren't they the first state to do so? And then, of course, Denver, Colorado is the first city to decriminalize mushrooms. Colorado's got a lot of stuff going on there. After Sa and Wa, I see. Yeah, I read an article a while ago, like maybe a year ago, that like if we had a true free market, like these liberals love free market, blah blah blah, free market, right? If we had a true free market, like a pound of weed would be like $2. But, like, I don't know, man. Have you ever tried growing weed? Personally, I haven't. But I've looked into it, and it doesn't seem that hard, especially if you were to do industrial farming, right? So, again, like, if we had a true free market, things would be a little bit different. New Brunswick is in a similar place. Goddamn Canadians. You can only buy weed legally from the provincial dispensaries, but it's way too expensive, so most people, yep. Maybe not most. I don't know numbers. Yeah, I read a study in California that was just doing like I don't remember exactly the methodology of the study, but California, there was a study that said that black market weed sales like eclipsed by a big margin legal markets. But goddamn, I love to grow my own medicine. Am I right, people? Up top. A little Rayman on the Sony PlayStation there. Look at that. That's my camera stand. I'm always living near Rayman at all times. Anyway, got a show. I guess I'm doing a show. I guess, right? This is a show. You can see there's the remnants. There, look at that. This is what I was dealing with, by the way. That's behind the scenes for the last couple months. But we got some remnants here. Anyway, it's pretty anti-freedom that we can grow tomatoes, but not weed. It is pretty anti-freedom. I agree. Like, imagine, like, a government is saying, like you can or can't grow certain things. Now I can understand, like, let's say I wanted to have like a bamboo farm in my backyard, or like, I wanted, and bamboo is like a highly invasive species or whatever, and it fucks other people's, shit up. That's one thing, right? If there's, but it's like weed doesn't do that, mycelium doesn't do that, yet the government's going to tell, blah, 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 blah. Go fuck yourself. That's what I have to say. Go fuck yourself. Colorado has Lauren Boebert. That's true. Reason number 3,416 why I'm not moving to Colorado. Lauren Boebert. Anyway. So there was some news in Alaska. The Democratic Party in the United States of America has picked up a House seat unexpectedly. And it's actually not that bad, right? So I don't know too much about the candidate here, but I'm reading an article from the BBC. Mary Peltola, first Alaskan native elected to Congress as Sarah Palin loses. So what do the Brits have to say about this? Sarah Palin has lost a special congressional election in Alaska in a district that was Republican-held for nearly 5 decades. The winner, Democrat Mary Peltola, will be the first Alaskan native to serve as a lawmaker in Congress for the state. The race was to fill a vacancy left after the former office holder died. The seat is up for grabs again in November. So this is a special election, right? And special elections happen when someone dies in office, and then, like, you know, every 2 years, either way, the seat goes up. So it is a little weird, right, that there was an election now, right? But then there's going to be another one in 2 months, right? It is a little weird. Why not just wait, you know? But I don't. This is how our system works. And so the thing here, the real kind of story here is, will Mary Peltola be able to hold on in the midterm election? Who knows, right? Former Alaska Governor Miss Palin, 58, rose to prominence as a vice presidential candidate in 2008. Miss Peltola, 49, was declared the winner on Wednesday by 3 percentage points in a state that the ex-president Donald Trump took by 10 points in 2020. The former state lawmaker advocated for abortion access, climate action, and the state's salmon populations. Miss Palin, who was endorsed by Mr. Trump, outspent her Democratic rival by 4-1 in the run-up against to the 16 August election, according to Politico. Miss Peltola ran against 2 Republicans in the state's first ranked choice ranked choice election, a system that was criticized by Miss Palin during the race as confusing and unfair. Ranked choice basically means who do you want the most, and who would you like the second? You know, who do you hate? You know, you put them on the bottom of the list, or you just don't put them on at all. The Democrat, who is Yupik and grew up in a rural place of Alaska, will also become the first woman to hold the seat. It had previously been held since 1973 by the late Republican Don Young. Isn't that crazy? Some motherfucker, 1973. Imagine the world in 1973. And that motherfucker was the representative from Alaska for 49 fucking years. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy shit, man. Anyway, then it goes on to remind us about Sarah Palin being cringe. But again, you know, we'll see how this goes. The backlash on this might mean that this person's only in there for a couple months. But either way, it's pretty cool. It signals some good stuff. It's good for the vibes. And yeah, Sarah Palin is really pissed off about the ranked choice voting thing. Right-wingers are freaking out about ranked choice voting. I saw that Jack Posobiec posted this, like, electoral map if, like, ranked choice voting was undertaken in states, and it was, like, Democrats would win with 400 electoral votes or whatever, right? So, obviously, right, more democracy is the enemy of the Republican Party, right? They want as little democracy as possible. They want you to vote for as little things as possible. I'm surprised we're even voting for senators, right? Like, that was a constitutional amendment, by the way. Originally, this system, the governors of the state would appoint senators, right? Isn't that crazy? Right? And, like, it wasn't until, like, you know, the 20th century that we were like, maybe we should allow ourselves to vote for these people. I'm surprised at that one. That's a huge, I mean, I gotta look into how that fucking happened, because that is some crazy shit. Anyway, this is big news. I think it's cool. But again, we'll see how long it lasts, because, you know, the Republicans are going to freak the fuck out about this, and they're going to mobilize to steal that seat back. Well, I guess I shouldn't say steal. But they're going to try to take it back. You know, isn't it weird? Alaska has 1 at-large congressional district, but 2 senators? Really makes you think. Vertical farming with aquaponics, hell yes. Missouri eliminated primaries in favor of caucuses. See, I don't like that. I'm not a caucus fan, personally. As, you know, like, just the idea of, like, having to go to a place and everyone knows who my political supporting candidates are, and everyone's gonna, like, I don't know, man. Like, as a queer American, I feel like that puts people like me in danger. I don't know, but I've heard a lot of people say that they've been to a caucus and then, like, you know, people fucking harass them for years after that because they found out that they're leftist or something or whatever. But the word, yeah, caucus is a great word. But I'm not a huge caucus fan, personally. I'm a cock fan, though. Haha. Oof. Now, I agree with that message. That is an agreeable chat message. Everyone, I would like to announce that it is time for the Max the Dog emote to be posted. So if you have access to a Max the Dog emote, it's time to post it in the chat. And so, you know, again, I got the YouTube membership thing going on. The lowest tier is, I think it's $2. Maxie, come here. Max! Oh, here he is. Max! Max! Max, you're a star. You're famous. Come here. You're famous. He's a famous dog. You're a TV superstar. Look at my goddamn hair. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. Look at that fucking shit. Holy moly. Honestly, it's kind of hot, but I gotta put the headset back on. Anyway, Max the goddamn dog. And, so yeah, the lowest tier I think is $2. But there's, you know, there's the multiple tiers. On Twitch, you can't adjust the tier pricing, but on YouTube you can. So I think it's 2, 10, and 20 or something. And so, you know, do whatever you want if you want. I mean, it's an option. But the number one Max the Dog appreciator. Welcome to cool. I love the language there. It sounds like a fucking NES game. You know what I mean? Welcome to cool. I think I might have not read the grammar of like the member field as well as I could have. So I think that might be my fault. But I love that shit. Yeah, I think you need to be on a computer. I'm not sure. But anyway. Anyway, that's cool. So, give me money if you want. But also, again, you know, YouTube does take a cut, right? So, you know, that's why I wanted to make the lowest tier, you know, affordable, right? That way you get the fun emotes. But if you want to contribute in other ways, PayPal, Cash App, Patreon, those are going to be the most bang for the buck. Less amount of fees on those platforms, but, you know how human psychology works, right? You know, these motherfuckers, they want to pop up with their green bars. Real on N gifted 10 memberships. I don't know how the gifting stuff works yet. Does anyone know? Like, how does that function? Who knows? I guess we'll find out eventually. But thank you, Real on. I got 10 of these motherfuckers. I think that means you can claim them, right? Like, it's like first come, first serve. I'm not sure. But, I get paid either way, so I'm into that. From a phone. Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert by any means. I've been using YouTube for 12 years, and I don't know anything about this website. In my mind, like, my conception of YouTube is still, like, you know, 2008, 2009. Like, anything after Google acquired YouTube, it's all new to me. It's like a different language. Like, it's walking around in like an ancient Egyptian tomb or something. You've seen all these pictures on the wall. I don't know what the fuck they mean. Right? So, September starts tomorrow on Twitch. What is September? I need to look this up. Maybe I should take advantage of this. What is September? Did I see your link? I don't think links are enabled in the chat, but feel free to send it to me. Elsewhere. Sub-fucking-tember. Actually, it's starting today, because it's September now. So, Courtney is a liar, and she has been documented and confirmed to be a liar. She has lied. So, I don't think really people should be taking Courtney all that seriously going forward. Clearly, she likes to dabble in disinformation. Again, misinformation is just you're wrong accidentally. Disinformation is when you know you're lying and you say it anyway. So that's obviously Courtney did not make a mistake. Courtney is here purposefully to deceive people. So there you go. But September, I guess I'll try to take advantage of that, I guess. What should I do? I gotta get more emotes. Maybe I'll do like a thing where it's like every I don't know. I submitted emotes on Twitch like a week ago, and those motherfuckers still aren't enabled. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna submit an emote to try to market September, and it's gonna get like fucking approved at like September like fucking 31st or some shit, you know? I'm gonna be in like an alternate universe when that shit gets approved. I submitted that shit like a week ago. God damn it. What the fuck? Does anyone know, like, does it really take a week to approve a fucking face of a dog? Like, there's no goddamn, like, subliminal messaging. You know, it's a fucking dog picture. It's just a photo of my dog. What the fuck is taking so long, you know? Anyway. I have been streaming on Twitch a lot recently. You know, so for me, it's been kind of a smooth transition because I've been getting back into Doom speedrunning this year. I've been doing a lot of Doom speedrunning this year. I was kind of one of my big yearly goals was to kind of get back in there. And because I love Doom and I love speedrunning, and I took like several years off of that. And so that's been fun. So I was just, instead of speedrunning by myself, like listening to a podcast, I've just decided to stream it. So definitely go follow me on Twitch if you'd like. It'd be pretty cool. And I've been trying to, like, you know, trying to stream once a day, and it's typically been around the 3 to 5 hour range. But you know, send me the link on Twitter. Should I look at it now? Is it that important? Oh, right, right. I'll look at that after the stream. That way I don't want to make any mistakes for something like that. I got you. It's a goddamn dog picture, you know what I mean? YouTube was like, "Oh, it's a dog picture? All right, great." And they approved that shit instantly, you know? Twitch is like, "Whoa. Is that a picture of your dog? Well, we'll have to examine this." So we'll have to get a team of scientists, you know? My first time, that's why we'll reel on. You know, we all have a first time eventually, okay? So, let's just put it that way. I guess this is a news show. I should get back into the news. I've done like 10 minutes of talking about people giving me money. Anyway. Let's get back into the news. Yeah, I gotta get that merchandise shit set up. It's going forward. I have constructed, well, I don't want to, you know, I've constructed something. The ball is going forward. And no, splendido. She is mega hot. Are you talking about me? I'm pretty fucking hot, let's be honest, right? Like, you know, I don't want to diminish anyone here. But, you know, as far as YouTube anarchist news shows, hey, probably the hottest on that list. I mean, as far as Doom speedrunners, I don't mean, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm just saying these are what people tell me, you know, many people are saying. Do you know anyone this hot who is also this intelligent? No, usually hot people are stupid, right? That's the meme. But I'm hot, I'm smart as fuck, and I'm good at video games, right? I got the full package. Anyway, so now that I've called myself many positive things, let's get into the news. All right, so there's a lot more studies that have been coming out recently in regards to just how bad food is in this country. And so I'm reading an article from CNN Health. Ultra-processed foods linked to cancer and early death, studies find. Now, I will say my first criticism, well, I've always been a critic of the term processed food because it's unspecific. Processed food, what does that mean? Oh, it's been through processing. What the fuck does that mean? Right? Like when I harvest tomatoes in my backyard, that's a process. What is processed food, right? It's unspecific and it's vague. But then, now, we're seeing terms like ultra-processed. What? It doesn't mean anything. So, my opinion is these terms are a huge, huge, huge setback on all of the findings of these studies, right? The findings of these studies, if properly labeled and properly identified, I think would resonate with vastly larger audiences if terms like processed or ultra processed. Like ultra processed sounds like a cartoon. That sounds like some shit from like Transformers. The ultra processor. Like what the fuck is that? Like is that some like sci-fi shit? Anyway. But seriously though, food, at least in the United States of America, is poison. Almost every food that you eat is poison, right? Like let's be honest. What is food? What is the idea? When you think, oh, what do I need food for? To fuel your body. Well, again, if you are eating sausage, if you are eating fucking Wendy's, if you are eating like fucking donuts, you're not feeding your body. You are poisoning your body, right? Again, I need you to understand there is no nutritional benefit at all from most of what Americans eat. Once again, 95%. I know, it's insane. I know every time I say this, like I feel like I'm in like the Twilight Zone or something. Like I'm in one of those weird ass Twilight Zone episodes. 95% of Americans don't eat vegetables. And where's my source on that? Well, a study was done in 2019. I'm sure it's worse now. That found that only 5% of Americans hit the daily recommended minimum of fiber. What is fiber? Fiber is mostly found in fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. 95% of Americans, the only vegetable they have is like whatever the fuck this like weird ass like green shit is on their hot dog, right? You know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane. 5% of Americans eat vegetables. That's insane. Like, I mean, seriously? Like, find an issue that perfectly encapsulates how our fucking society is fucked more than only 5% of this country eats vegetables. I cannot think of another single statistic that perfectly encapsulates the American crisis better than the fact that only 5% of Americans eat vegetables. It's insane. But again, my criticisms of the terms ultra-processed and processed aside, there have been more studies that have been coming out, and I try to cover them whenever I see them, that have really been kind of displaying just how exactly these foods are killing you. They are killing you. Life expectancy in this country is going down, not just because of COVID, but because of food quality, right? So again, there's also the argument life expectancy isn't the end-all be-all. Think about it this way, right? If life expectancy goes forward and you can live an extra year, but you're taking 17 pills a day and you can't walk, is that really a life well lived? Right? If you can make it to 84, right, more consistently, but by the time you're in your 60s, right, you know, you got like 3 heart transplants, you know, your liver died fucking 20 years ago, right? You know what I mean? So like life quantity, to my perception, I don't really care about life quantity as much. Now, I say this as someone who wants to live to 200 years old. But again, life quality is also extremely important. And you ever wonder why there's no charts on life quality, right? The closest metric we have is like the happiness index, in which the United States is like, right, in the dumpster on. But anyway, let's get to this article. Eating a lot of ultra-processed foods significantly increases men's risk of colorectal cancer and can lead to heart disease and early death in both men and women. I got like a hangnail going on. I love this idea that it's like, you know, if men eat processed food, it's going to kill them. But women, they can have as much processed food. What is this fucking stupid bullshit where we're doing gender segregation and how food affects our body? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, yeah, a man can have 15 steaks and they'll die. A woman, 15 steaks, they'll be what? No, we're human beings. Like, do we really need gender segregation in every fucking category? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, according to 2 new large-scale studies of people in the United States and Italy, published Wednesday in the British medical journal, the BMJ, ultra-processed foods include pre-packaged soups, sauces, frozen pizza, ready-to-eat meals, and pleasure foods such as hot dogs, sausages, French fries. Now, I'm just curious, how are French fries processed? Like, you just cut up a potato and deep fry them, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, to me, that doesn't seem, like, that seems like not even processed at all. What's the process, you know? Unless they count, like, frozen French fries, I'm not sure. Soda's a big killer. In my opinion, if I had any power in this country, I would try to ban soda. That's my opinion. Store-bought cookies, cakes, candies, donuts, ice cream, and many more. Literally hundreds of studies link ultra-processed foods to obesity, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and overall mortality. Once again, 95% of Americans don't eat vegetables. They don't eat fiber, right? 93% of Americans, the delta is 2% here. 93% of Americans, coincidentally, have extremely slow metabolic rates, right? They are cardio-metabolically unhealthy, according to studies that have recently come out. There's a new 2022 study that came out that said 93% of Americans are cardio-metabolically unhealthy, which means it takes them longer to break down toxins in their body, which means that they have more insulin resistance over time, right? It leads to metabolic syndrome, which leads to pre-diabetes, which leads to diabetes, which leads to death. Okay, motherfucker? So I'm just, 93% of Americans have pre-diabetes. Not so good. Not so good. Anyway, these two studies continue the consistency. Ultra-processed foods are unambiguously associated with an increased risk for chronic disease, said Nestle, who was not involved with either study, just some random person. The U.S.-based study examined the diets of over 200,000 men and women for up to 28 years and found a link between ultra-processed foods and colorectal cancer, the third most diagnosed cancer in the U.S. in men but not women. Processed and ultra-processed meats such as ham, bacon, salami, hot dogs, beef jerky, and corned beef have long been associated with a higher risk of bowel cancer in both men and women, according to the World Health Organization, American Cancer Society, and the American Institute for Cancer Research. The new study, however, found that all types of ultra-processed foods play a role to some degree. We found that men in the highest quintile of ultra-processed food consumption. This is another interesting thing with gender segregation. I read a study. I don't remember when it was. It might have been 2 years ago. It might have been 2 months ago, for all I know. Maybe someone can remind me. I think I did it on the show. Right? That said that men are far less likely to eat healthily because they think that eating healthy is like a sign of being like a beta male. No, this is like an actually documented effect of toxic masculinity. Men are afraid to eat salads because they think other men will think that they're weak because they eat a salad. That's the world that we live in. That's American society. That's what we have produced in this country. A bunch of stupid fucking man babies who think taking care of your body is a sign of weakness. What? Shouldn't it be the opposite? Oh, you're eating garbage. You're a weak fucking idiot, right? You can't run a mile because you eat sausage every day. But only in America is eating a salad a sign of being a beta male. What a stupid fucking country. Anyway, go look up on my channel to see if you can find that. I don't know when I covered that. So it might have been 2020, 2021, or 2022. I'm not sure. Had a 29% higher risk of developing colorectal cancer, said co-senior author Fang Zhang, a cancer epidemiologist and chair. By the way, that name, Fang Zhang, that's a good name. Like, Jesus. I wish that was my name. Chair of the Division of Nutrition, Epidemiology, and Data Science on the Friedman School of Nutrition Science and Policy at Tufts University in Boston. Everyone's got these super long fucking labels, yes, I am the chair of the Division of the Nutritional Epidemiology and Data Science at the Friedman School of Nutrition. It's like, Jesus Christ. Can you tell us who you are in 5 words or less? Challenge? Come on now. That association remained even after researchers took into account a person's body mass index or dietary quality. Why didn't the new study find the same risk for colorectal cancer in women? Reasons for such a sex difference are still unknown, but may involve the different roles that obesity, sex hormones, and metabolic hormones play in men versus women, Zhang said. Alternatively, women may have chosen healthier ultra-processed foods. Now, again, you ever go to the fucking grocery store and you're in the frozen food section? By the way, never go to the frozen food section, okay? Just throwing that out there. But if you're ever in the frozen food section, section. You ever see these, like, there's like I'm no joke. There's like lean pockets, right? And you see these like quote unquote healthy choice frozen dinners, right? Now I read a study a couple, I don't know when it was. It could have been years ago, it could have been months ago, that said that women are more likely to eat like the healthier shitty option. And this is another, this is providing that as well here, is that women are probably just as fucking stupid and just as dumb, right? But it's like, oh, I'll have the healthy choice. It's only got 16 grams of high fructose corn syrup instead of 38 grams. I'll take the lean pocket. Why? Because we got to watch our figures, right? What? Whoever invented the lean pocket, man. Now that's a story. That guy needs a biopic, right? I want to know who invented the fucking lean pocket. Like, how do we sell fucking garbage to people who think they want to eat healthy but don't actually care about eating healthy? Boom, the lean pocket was born. The study did find that eating a higher consumption of ultra-processed dairy foods, such as yogurt, was associated with a lower risk of colorectal cancer in women, Shang said. Some ultra-processed foods are healthier, such as whole grain foods that contain little or no added sugars, or yogurt and dairy foods. Now again, the term ultra-processed is so ambiguous and vague that it's hard to know what we're talking about. Whole grain foods are ultra-processed? Whole grain foods are pretty fucking good for you. So we need to come up with a new term here, all right? Ultra-processed, no one, even people like me that pay attention to this, the 5% of Americans who eat vegetables, even I have no fucking idea what ultra fucking processed means. And I guarantee you that these people that are doing these studies also don't know what the fuck ultra processed means. Can we get a new fucking word? Women did have higher risk for colorectal cancer if they consume more ready-to-eat or heat dishes, such as pizza, she said. However, men were more likely to have higher risk of bowel cancer if they ate a lot of meat, poultry, or seafood-based ready-to-eat products and sugar-sweetened beverages. You ever think this, I'm a man, I gotta eat my meat because I'm a big boy, I gotta eat my meat. Like, Jesus Christ, man, Americans are fucking stupid. Americans consume a large percentage of their daily calories from ultra-processed foods. Daily calories. Not monthly calories. Not like, a couple times a week, maybe we'll have a treat. Or like, once a week or once a month I'll have like some ice cream. No. Daily. There are people in this country that drink soda every day. There are people in this country that eat meat every day. If you want to eat meat and it's like your birthday or whatever, you want to splurge, whatever. I don't give a shit. But there are people in this country that eat meat literally every day, and they think it's healthy for them. Like, literally, people will think bacon and eggs in the morning is a healthy breakfast. Go on the street and just start asking people, do you think bacon and eggs in the morning is a healthy breakfast? And I guarantee you a significant majority are going to say, yeah, it's pretty healthy. It's insane. 58% in adults and 67% in children. Why is it higher for children? Because we have a pandemic, if you will, of bad parents in this country. Now, again, I would like to raise my hand here and cite my own childhood. I, was raised by a single mother. And guess what? My mom, would, she would be tired from work, so she'd barely ever cook for me. So most of the food that I ate when I was a kid, Hot Pockets, frozen meals, all that fucking good shit, I was, my mom would just get McDonald's on the way home just so she didn't have to fucking deal with me, And so I was pretty much raised on fast food and ice cream. That was my diet for, the first fucking 18 to 19 years of my life. I didn't know any better. My parents didn't fucking teach me anything. Whenever I'd go visit my father, because we had the every other weekend situation, my dad would try to impress me. It's like, I want to try to make my kid like me. So I'm going to buy my kid Burger King and McDonald's and Wendy's, Because, how else are you going to win your child's affection? Quality time together? No. Going out and doing fun things together? No. Actually developing a meaningful relationship? Nah. Let's buy some fucking Mickey D's and just fucking, sit on the couch or whatever. Fuck it. So, again, that's insane. That is insane. That's insane. Do you know the damage that it does to give children drug addictions this early? People freak the fuck out if you give a child fucking, marijuana or alcohol when they're too young, but you give a child ice cream every single day, and that's the American dream. You give a child fucking unhealthy garbage like McDonald's once or twice or 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, in my case, 6 times a week, and that's the American dream. You make your child fucking goddamn mac and cheese and hot dogs and pizzas, and that's the American dream. You give your child a little taste of the beer. Oh, no. You're an abusive parent. But you give your child ice cream and you're a great parent. Isn't that fucking insane? So now guess what? I have to deal with being a drug addict for the rest of my life. And my drug of choice is sugar. My drug of choice is soda. My drug of choice is ice cream. And you know how hard it was for me to quit that shit? You know how hard it is to be 17 years old and weigh 240 fucking pounds because your parents are fucking stupid and they would just feed you just unhealthy shit literally your entire life? Do you know how hard that is? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus Christ. So now I have to live with having a food addiction forever. Forever. Because my parents are fucking stupid. And my parents are fucking stupid because this country made them fucking stupid, okay? And you know how many 95% of Americans are in the same boat? A link to early death. The second study followed more than 22,000 people for a dozen years in the Molise region of Italy. The study, which began in March 2005, was designed to assess risk factors for cancer as well as heart and brain disease. Analysis published in the BMJ compared the role of nutrient-poor foods, such as foods high in sugar and saturated or trans fats, versus ultra-processed foods in the development of chronic disease, blah, 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 and early death. However, when researchers compared the two types of food to see which contributed the most, they discovered that ultra-processed foods were paramount to define the risk of mortality, said first author Maria Laura, that's one word, Maria Laura Bonaccio, epidemiologist at the Department of Epidemiology and Prevention at the IRCC. Again, these fucking labels, okay, just say you work for a fucking, whatever. You don't need all these fucking things. In fact, over 80% of the foods classified by the guidelines followed in the study as nutritionally unhealthy were ultra-processed, said Bonaccio in a statement. This suggests that the increased risk of mortality is not due directly or exclusively to the poor nutritional quality of some products, but rather the fact that these foods are mostly ultra-processed, not real foods. Why are ultra-processed foods so bad for us? For one, they are ready-to-eat or heat industrial formulations that are made with ingredients extracted from foods or synthesized in laboratories with little or no whole foods. These overly processed foods are often high in added sugars and salt, low in dietary fiber, and full of chemical additives such as artificial colors, flavors, or stabilizers. Now, I want to highlight this part. Low in dietary fiber. Once again, 95% of Americans do not hit the minimum daily recommended intake of fiber. 95%. 95% of Americans are so fucking stupid they don't know how to eat vegetables. How did they get this way? Again, generations of horrible parents like my own, generations of propaganda from cereal companies that say the most important meal of the day is a bowl of Fruit Loops in the morning. That's how we got this way. But again, why is fiber so important? Here's a little fun fact. Right? Did you know that there are billions, if not trillions, of living organisms in your body? And I'm not talking about your own cells, motherfucker. I'm talking about bacteria. Colonies of bacteria in almost every part of your body. Now, especially these bacteria in your gut and your intestines, right? And in your mouth, they need to eat. How the fuck do you think they get there? How the fuck do you think they survive in your intestines without eating? So, check this out. When you eat foods that are high in fiber, you want to know why high fiber foods makes you fart so much? Why? Guess what? It's because the bacteria in your gut are munching down on that shit. They're eating the fuck out of the fiber and they're producing your farts. So when you eat high fiber foods and you fart a lot, that means your gut is actually healthy. They're getting a nice that's your gut bacteria burping after a nice fucking meal. Okay? But if you don't eat fiber, you know what happens? Well, these motherfucking bacteria, guess what? They need to eat regardless of whether or not you feed them. So they're going to start feeding on your actual food. Whatever you're eating, they're going to start feeding on parts of your body, which causes inflammation. Okay? So again, people wonder, oh, blah, 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 why do I feel like shit all the time? Because you don't know how to fucking feed yourself. Okay? You don't know how to fucking feed yourself. That's why you feel like shit all the time. Now again, we've designed a society, by the way, where farts are considered uncouth. Oh no, if you fart in public, you're a laughingstock. People will be embarrassed about you, right? So, now again, isn't that a little insane? Farting is literally a sign of having a healthy metabolism, a healthy gut, literally. Now again, you can fart in some instances and it's a sign of danger, right? That's possible. But most of the time, farts are a sign that things are going pretty well, right? But guess what? We designed a society where you shouldn't fart, and lo and behold, only 5% of Americans eat fiber, right? So again, not only when you eat fiber are you actually eating the rest of the nutrients in your food, right? But when you don't eat fiber, not only like let's say you're trying to eat a target of 30 grams of protein a day or whatever, and no fiber is involved, you're eating 0 grams of fiber. Chances are your body's not going to process all of that. You might even get, you'll be lucky to get a half of that actually processed and metabolized by your body, because every other thing in your body is going to be going like, oh shit, I need that and I'm fucking starving. So anyway, little sidebar on fiber. Well, some ultra-processed foods may be considered healthier than others. In general, we would recommend staying away from ultra-processed foods completely and focus on healthy, unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes. Anyway, you can read the rest of this if you'd like, but it's just a couple more lines. But again, 95% of Americans don't eat fiber. They don't eat vegetables. They're dumb as fuck. 93% of Americans have pre-diabetes, essentially. They're going to fucking die any day now. And who do you think profits from this? Food companies, creating generations of Americans that are drug addicts. And guess what? Their drugs are legal. They don't have to worry about the law. You don't have to worry about the law. The only thing you have to worry about is the FDA. And what does the FDA say? Oh, that ice cream that's going to cause your fucking child to become a drug addict for the rest of their life? A-okay. You know who else profits off of this? Big Pharma. Why? Because you develop these heart disease. You develop heart disease. You develop fatty liver disease. You develop diabetes, right? So you need insulin. Then you need to buy insulin to survive. You need to get those fucking blood thinners, man. Hell yeah. Big Pharma's making a shitload of money off of your stupid fucking ass. Right? You know who else makes money? Health insurance companies. Why? Because they don't want to cure you. They don't want to tell you, oh, maybe you should stop eating garbage. They want to tell you, you will not have to make any lifestyle changes at all. We got a pill for you. Come into my office once a month and let's bill your insurance and we'll all come out a little happier, right? Isn't that a little insane? 95% of Americans are essentially drug addicts. And I know that might sound a little inflammatory, controversial. 95% Americans, if you don't eat fiber, let's be honest, you're a drug addict. You're addicted to drugs. So cry me a fucking river. You ever see these people that go around fat shaming, by the way? You ever see this? 43% of Americans are obese, right? And the other fucking 50-something percent love to fat shame them. Oh, they're obese. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Look at how fat they are. How gross it is. Blah, 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 blah. You ever meet these fucking people? Well, guess what? 93% of Americans are fucked up. Some people, right, their symptoms develop outwardly. They will gain fat in their skin. They will gain fat all over their body. They will be more outwardly obese, right? Some people will store fat around their organs, around their liver, which leads to fatty liver disease, which historically was only attributed to alcohol consumption, but now non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is way more prominent than alcoholic fatty liver disease, right? Why? Because of processed food, because of ice cream, because of fucking soda pop, right? So now again, there's a term. It's called thin on the outside and fat on the inside, right? And what that means is the fat will surround your liver. Oh no, your heart. Oh man, you get heart palpitations, right? You get sweaty when you do a little bit of exercise. But then these motherfuckers are going to go turn around and say, oh, look how fat they are, blah, 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 blah. Like, so I just fucking hate this fat shaming garbage, because guess what? 93% of Americans are drug addicts. 95% if you count the fiber statistic. This shit's insane. So just throwing that out there. we can all do better. It's about harm reduction. Like, if you can do... Now, I just want to say this as well. If you do nothing with your diet, right? If you want to eat all the same foods, if you ate a small salad, and I'm not talking about iceberg, motherfucker. I'm talking about spinach, get some carrots in there, maybe a couple of beans. If you ate a small salad every day, in addition to everything else, you will be significantly healthier because at least you're feeding your gut microbiome, and at least they're not going to fucking feed on the actual, like, you know, nutrients, what little are actually in the food that you're eating, right? So I'm just saying, right, if you don't want to make any lifestyle changes at all, you don't want to reduce anything, at least add a salad and you will be a little bit healthier. Trust me, okay? So anyway, there's your 30-minute fucking food rant. Jesus Christ. Whenever I do a story like this, I just, woo, right? Can fatty liver be turned around? Absolutely. I mean, it depends on the age, right? Like, for me, I lost 100 pounds in my life. My like, heaviest was, like, 270-ish, and my lightest was, like, 120-ish. So I guess that's actually a lot more, because I lost that all in one big thing. But also, that was when I was, like, 21. So... like, the older you are, the harder it is to lose weight because, like, you know, again, it's just, it's decades of accumulated poison in your body. Decades and decades of accumulated plaque in your fucking arteries, of fat around your organs, right? So the longer you're alive, the harder it is to lose weight because there's just more damage that's done over time. Pray nay, Americans are fucking stupid. Like, what do you expect? Anyway. Again, Johnny Too Late. I have an uncle that has heart problems, multiple heart attacks, but loves sausages and won't stop eating them. He now literally tries to squeeze the fat out of the sausages. That's called a drug addict. That's a drug addict. Like, what's the difference between that and someone who's walking around the side of the street? Oh, look, there's a fucking beer bottle with a little bit left in there. Like, what's the difference between that and someone who's, like, you know, scraping fucking, like, you know, the bottom of, like, a fucking container to try to get the little bit of fucking, like, whatever drug they're using? What's the difference? There is none? Granadissimo, veganism is not a diet, so that's your first mistake. Veganism is about consent, right? Lab-grown meat has no consciousness, it has no brain, therefore it's not about consent. But also, lab-grown meat is just as unhealthy as real meat, right? So meat is not healthy for you, and B12 is not difficult to get. And lab-grown meat is not the best source of vitamin B12. Like, I don't know, man. Like, nutritional yeast, for example. You know? Oh, I'm all about the Posadism. But lab-grown meat is not going to save us. Now, it might be a way for people to, like, get off the drug addictions a little bit easier. And it might be better than eating real meat for the environment, right? But that's not really going to solve a lot of the underlying health problems. But, yeah, like B12, a lot of people love to say, oh, vegans and vegetarians are, you know, they're missing whatever the fuck. Right, B12, I'm sorry, just look up a list, like B12 rich vegetables, you know? It's an ethics issue, I agree, but that doesn't downplay it. You know? Like, just because it's an ethics issue doesn't mean that it's any less valid. We shouldn't torture animals. Like, I don't know, man. Consider this a little controversial. But how can someone go out there and say the Holocaust was wrong and then they eat steak? I don't know, man. To me, that makes you seem like a little bit of a fucker. That's just my opinion, though. Like, oh, the Holocaust, so big and so bad. Now, let's go to Cracker Barrel and get me a steak. You know? Hey, thought experiment. Think about it a little bit. I know people get triggered by that, but I don't care. I don't care if you get triggered by that. The ultimate way you get triggered by that is because you're a speciesist. You think other species on this planet don't have a right to live, but humans are all of a sudden, like, we're the best creatures on the world. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I disagree. So, hey, again, maybe I'm being controversial, but if you compare a mass extinction going on, we are going through a mass extinction. Coral reefs destroyed, okay? Elephants, right? Destroyed. Cattle destroyed, right? Domesticated to the point where they can barely live on their own, right? And then mass manufactured and slaughtered for our entertainment. Hey, I'm just saying, think of what it does to the climate, right? You know, look at the bee populations are shrinking. What's that going to cause? That's going to cause, like, other more dangerous insects to take over, right? Think about the mass extinction that we're going through because of the meat industry. Hey, I'm just saying, personally, I'm not trying to say anything is less bad by nature, by proxy, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Just a little food for thought. Just think about it. You know, what is this? Like, where do I put the strand of hair? Like, if you want to say, oh, I love eating meat, right? I don't want to ever stop eating meat. Lab-grown meat, no problem, right? Now, again, I will even admit, like, let's say you're a farmer and you got a cow and your cow is dying of old age and you fed them great food and you want to eat them because you're some fucked up freak, okay? Let's say my dog dies and I wanted to eat my dog because I'm a fucked up freak. Whatever. That's less bad than raising an animal in a cage that's so small where they can't even turn around for years, stealing their children, right? Torturing them, causing them to grow more tumors and cancer because there's more meat to eat, right? That's fucked up. Now, again, if you want to say, oh, I got a, you know, my cow, you know, my steer, bitch, she lived a great life. She lived 5 years old. And, you know, she died of natural causes. I gave her goddamn grass and, you know, carrots every day. She's really good, you know. And, you know, I figure, you know, she's gonna die, so someone's gonna eat her, whether it be the, you know, the coyotes and the goddamn, or whether it be me and my family. Maybe I'll sell a little bit to the butcher shop down the street. You know, I have less of a problem with that shit than I do with the fucking mass manufacturing and slaughter of animals. So, that's my opinion. Like, if you have a cow or you're eating, like, some organic-ass grass-fed shit or whatever, you know what? You are, like, still, you probably shouldn't because of the health implications, but that's not my main enemy here. My main enemy is the meat industry, the food industry. Did you know how many people eat pork in my chat? Did you know under Donald Trump's tenure as president, he significantly slashed pork processing minimums when it comes to having FDA inspections? He significantly slashed the amount of required employees to pick out feces, rats, right? Infestations, like non-edible parts, bones, other stuff, right? Increasing the speed of conveyor belts, right? So that when you buy bacon, when you buy hot dogs, there is a higher percentage of shit, piss, rat parts, bones in those fucking food items than there was 5 years ago. So thank Trump for that. If anyone eats pork in this country, you're a fucking idiot. So just throwing that out there. So that's just my opinion. I don't know, man. A lot of people view animals as less than. But I say, if someone were to tell me that my dog's life is less valuable than my life, I would say, go fuck yourself. A cow's life is not less valuable than a human's life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you know what? We should. And we should strive. We should have and we should strive to correct the wrongs that we have made. We should live, we should coexist on this planet with other beings. Right? Look in Africa and in the Middle East and Asia and the elephant populations. Now, first of all, long-tusked elephants are basically extinct. Why? Because people would poach them and kill them illegally for ivory, and no one gave a fuck. Oh, I want an ivory bookshelf. Oh, I want some ivory jewelry. What? So now long-tusked elephants are nearly extinct. Now, also, we are building highways. We are building mass, waste dumps by elephant habitats to the point where they're, oh shit, I can't drink the water anymore here. I'm going to die because of waste. So where do they go? They go somewhere else. So there have been, in Africa, right, in the Middle East and in Asia, where elephants are naturally, in population, there are more elephant attacks. Now, what is an elephant attack? They're not attacking humans out of rage and revenge. But what they're doing is they're going onto human land, farms, right? And, watering holes that humans drink out of. Why? Because all of their habitats have been destroyed. So imagine, right, you're trying to start up a farm in Africa, right? Imagine you've got a water plant in Africa, and an elephant just comes in, wrecks all the shit to drink the water because you destroyed their fucking natural habitat, right? We need to learn how to fucking coexist on this fucking planet. So, I don't know, man. A lot of people get triggered when I bring up the Holocaust and compare it to the animal industry. But I'd say that that's a you problem and not a me problem. I'm against the Holocaust and I'm against the meat industry and the food industry. So, I don't know. It's weird that you're not in the same category. I think that's weird, personally. But, what are you going to do? Little food for thought. Little food for thought. Anyway, let's talk about this. Yeah, that's right. We're still doing a fucking news show here. I started off low energy, but I finished my coffee and I did a food segment. So now I'm all hopped up. I'm all hopped the fuck up. That's me right now. Like in Beavis and Butthead Do America, when the fucking old lady gives Beavis the fucking random medication and then he turns into cornhole. That's me right now. Okay? Right, so anyway. This fucking hair thing. So the other day on my show, I covered a California bill that, to my understanding, is still waiting Gavin Newsom's signature or veto. They're developing a panel, essentially, to dictate the minimum wage of fast food workers. Now, my opinion, just increase the minimum wage for everyone, including fast food workers. I don't know why fast food workers are more special than janitors or more special than anyone else, okay? I don't know why. That's a little weird. But it's still a win overall, and it's going to help a lot of people. So I think it's worth supporting. McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger criticizes California fast food workers bill. This is from Fox Business. So, oh boy, the president of McDonald's doesn't want to pay his workers. Whoa, I thought this was a news show, and you're telling me this is a news show? If this counts as a news show, man, Jesus. In other news, Pearl Harbor was just bombed by the Japanese. What the fuck? What? Oh, holy shit, who'd have seen this fucking coming? McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger slammed California's fast food workers bill in a post Wednesday. Assembly Bill 257, also known as the Fast Food Accountability and Standards Recovery Act, creates a fast food sector council consisting of union representatives, workers, employees, and 2 state officials that will set wage rates, working hours, and other standards for fast food workers. Any minimum wage rate set by the council cannot exceed $22 per hour in 2023, and cost of living increases are scheduled for years beyond 2023. I believe they're trying to maximize it at 3.5%, but what inflation is 13% annually as it is right now, and I'm not saying it's going to be 13% every year going forward, but what I'm saying is 3.5% versus 13% inflation and cost of living increase. I don't know, man. 3.5% maximum is a little weird. Just tie it to cost of living, and then, we're done. I don't know. But anyway. Proponents of the bill have argued it will address unsafe conditions, wage theft, and other issues, while opponents say it could increase costs and harm the fast food sector. Oh, the poor fast food sector. You know what fast food restaurants, if you can even call them, are? Do you know what they are? Drug dispensaries? What's the difference between a liquor store and a McDonald's? Tell me, what's the difference? You go to one, and you can get your drugs in the drive-thru versus you go to one and you can't get your drugs in the drive-thru. And I know some liquor stores do have a drive-thru, but still, that's the main difference between a McDonald's and a liquor store. You're going there to buy drugs, to destroy yourself, and hey, if it's McDonald's, you got a drive-thru to go through. Anyway, Erlinger argued in a post on McDonald's corporate website that AB 257, quote, targets some workplaces and not others. What the fuck does that mean? Be specific, motherfucker. And also imposes higher costs on one type of restaurant while sparing another. Okay, be a little specific. Hello? The council's standards would apply to workers at fast food restaurants that are part of chains with 100 or more locations nationwide, absent valid collective bargaining agreements. Establishments that operate bakeries that produce bread for sale as standalone menu item are exempt. According to the text of the bill, the McDonald's USA president expressed support for raising minimum wages for workers and said aggressive wage increases are not bad. Oh, really? Isn't that interesting, by the way? Like, the McDonald's CEO really wants you to know he wants to increase minimum wages. Well, guess what? Now, this might be the breaking news portion of the program. Did you know you don't need to rely on the government to increase the minimum wage at the corporation that you are the president of? You can just do it yourself. That's your corporation. You are the president. You can increase the minimum wage. So, when a president of a corporation is telling you he supports a higher minimum wage, when he's not doing that, I got news for you. He does not support a higher minimum wage. He is lying to make it seem like he's not a total monster, okay? But if it's essential to increase restaurants' workers' wages and protect their welfare, and it is, shouldn't all restaurant workers benefit? Now, again, that's what I've been saying. I don't know why they don't just increase minimum wage to $22 an hour statewide or countrywide, for that matter. Did you know the minimum wage is still $7.25 in this country, nationally? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? But also, again, we need to understand that these major fast food chains have a fuckload of power. They have created generations of drug addicts, and their drug of choice is whatever fast food they can get their fucking hands on. He called the bill lopsided, hypocritical, and ill-considered legislation that hurts everyone. Now, again, I prefer a rising tide raises all the ships approach, but that doesn't mean that a significant portion of people can't get their own benefit before the other people. I prefer, my opinion is all about harm reduction, right? So if you, let's imagine we have a pie chart here, right? Let's illustrate this in your brain. 100% of the pie chart are getting fucked, okay? Now imagine, you're right, you take your knife and you carve out a solid 30 or 40% of that pie, and then, I don't know, you're giving them a spa day. Now, would I prefer everyone get a spa day? Absolutely. But I'm not going to say that we should retain a 100% fuck rate instead of a 60% fucked rate. Right? Harm reduction, motherfucker. This bill would save people's lives. It would help people tremendously. Anyway, so fuck this guy. This is all, he's just weaponizing talking points to try to convince you that he's a good guy. I promise, man. I support a minimum wage increase. I'm not doing it myself because, but man, I'm a great guy. Come to McDonald's. Give your child a birthday party here. My mom gave me a fucking birthday party at McDonald's. Did I ever tell you all this story? Imagine how fucked up I was as a kid. My mom's idea of a great birthday party was at a McDonald's. Jesus fucking Christ. And I know that there's an entire generation of stupid motherfuckers just like me that had to deal with that fucking shit when they were kids. My God. Man, McDonald's, honestly, McDonald's should be banned. It really should be. It really should be. Fast food should be banned. Full stop. Now, again, you never think about fast food and why it is the way it is. I guarantee you, if I wanted to, I could create an extremely healthy and tasty meal in as long as it takes to go through a McDonald's drive-thru. I could, right? Imagine if I had a full kitchen, fully staffed, right? I could create healthy, whole foods-based meals and deliver them via a fast food drive-thru as easily as McDonald's does it. So why is fast food automatically unhealthy? Why is that? There's not like, oh, well, we got to be fast, so we got to make it unhealthy. The speed is not relevant. You can make a drive-thru fast food restaurant be extremely healthy. But why isn't it like that? Because people won't go there. Why? Because they're not going to get addicted to your drug. If they can't get addicted to your drug, they're not going to go there, and you would go out of business. So that's why? Because Americans are fucking stupid, and they're drug addicts. And they abuse. Americans abuse the people that give them their drugs. You ever wonder why people go like, you don't want to end up like a fry cook at McDonald's to their kids? Imagine that. They are drug addicts, and they abuse, and they treat people like shit that mass manufacture their drugs that they shovel into their fucking gut. How is that fucked? Like, that's insane. That is insane to me. That is insane. I hate Americans. I hate Americans. I hate Americans so fucking much. I hate Americans. I need you to understand, Americans are the most entitled. 95% of Americans don't eat vegetables. 93% of Americans have metabolic syndrome, right? I hate fucking Americans. I hate them. They're garbage. They're garbage. This culture that we've created is trash. Anyone that enables this culture is trash. Fuck America. I hate America, and I hate Americans, and fuck McDonald's, right? And we need to treat people that fucking mass manufacture the poison that we fucking eat as a country, we need to treat them with a little bit of fucking respect. How come people treat Wall Street fat cat motherfuckers with respect, but not someone that fucking slaves away who got COVID 17 times because they work at Burger King with respect? I don't know why the page is refreshing itself, right? Isn't that fucked up? It's fucked up, the way this culture and society functions. Anyway, McDonald's CEO, what a fucking prick, or president, whatever he is. I don't know what it is. Fuck. It's sad. It's sad. Like, that's the thing. My opinion, janitors, based. How come we have a President's Day in this fucking country? Oh boy, boo, the president needs a day. Fuck President's Day. Let's replace President's Day with Janitor's Day. We need a fucking hats off to the janitors for cleaning up literal shit. How come that's a disrespected job? Man, I swear to God. Janitors are like one of the best fucking, like, those are the best people in this country. They sacrifice the most to make our lives significantly better. And we spit on them? Are you fucking joking? Jesus fucking Christ. Stupid fucking country. And I know that I think you live in Canada, Truant, but still. It's insane. Oh, anyway, I think I've effectively made a couple people upset on today's stream. I hope, anyway. I hope. That's my goal. I feel like if I don't... Like, one of the reasons why I started this show, above it all, is to trigger people. Like, I want people to be triggered, but I want them to be triggered in a useful way, right? You know what I mean? Like, I want people to think about, oh, why are 95% of Americans unhealthy bastards? Am I one of those people? When's the last time I had vegetables? When's it like, do you eat vegetables on a daily basis? Like, I'm just curious. Be honest, right? Because I know that my audience might lean in a direction that's not 95 to 5, but... So fill out this poll for me. I'm just curious. Like, if you don't know how much fiber you're eating, right? Like, just guess, right? Like, do you hit 25 grams of fiber per day? Because to me, that's like a bare minimum. I try to go for 30 or 40 at least, but 25, it's not bad. Reel on, one of these days I'll trigger you. See, that's the thing, Johnny Truant. I'm a lazy motherfucker too. And you know what the best thing to do when you're lazy is? Make a fucking salad. You don't have to cook it. No oil, no stove, no monitoring. You just throw a bunch of bullshit in a bowl, shake it up, and you got yourself food. That shit takes 5 to 10 minutes maximum. You know what I mean? You're too poor to afford vegetables on the daily. I disagree with that mindset. I think, I've been poor my whole life. So, for me, like, buy a can of black beans, right? Black beans, mixed vegetables, right? That's like, what, $1.30, and you got yourself a good-ass meal, right? Been relying on food boxes. Yeah, food boxes, whenever I've been to food banks, are insane. I would go to food banks often in my life, and they give you the worst shit. Like, oh, great, we're going to a food bank, and they give you cupcakes, right? That's not really, oh, I'm starving, I'm gonna die with it is, like, I guarantee you, I'm not even joking, right? Like, unless you've got, like, some hyper-specific medical condition, it is healthier for you to just continue fasting than it is to eat a fucking cupcake. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. But I think canned vegetables are something that most people can afford. I did like, when I was trying to, start being a vegetarian, I would try to eat on $1 a day. And it helped a lot. Just going to Walmart and just like, I spent like $100, and that lasted me for like 3 months on like just canned vegetables. So, I don't know what inflation is like hitting the whole country a little bit differently. So it might not be that easy anymore, but. Yeah, like, I don't often tell stories about my family, but I'm going to tell this one, and I hope they're not watching. But some people in my family, when we would go to the food bank, right, like, the food bank would give you, like, a cake, cupcakes, fried chicken, right, like, packaged shit, like bread, right, like chips, but then they'd throw a couple cans of, like, chickpeas in there, right? A couple cans of beans, right? So what my family would do on the food bank days is they would eat all the cake, all the fried chicken, all the expensive, like, sugar-filled bread, and they would eat none of the canned vegetables, none of the chickpeas, and then they would cry 3 days later, oh, we're out of food. Motherfucker, there's a cabinet full of motherfucking chickpeas. Make some fucking chickpeas. Oh, we're out of food. Motherfucker, like, you ate cake for breakfast, and now, like, I don't know, man. So I don't want to shit on my family too much, but great, wonderful people. But man, food banks in this country fucking suck. Fucking suck. And then also, like, what are the cakes that you're getting at the food bank, right? Why are they at the food bank? Because no one wanted to buy them. Why? Oh, because they fell on the floor and, like, the icing got stuck to the top of the container. Imagine the average consumer is such an uppity little prick, such a little prissy, like, fucking wannabe temporarily embarrassed millionaire that they're not going to buy a cake that the icing was smeared on the lid of a little bit, and so they have to send it to the food bank. Isn't that insane, by the way? Like, Americans are so fucking goddamn fucking entitled. Americans are the most entitled, whiny fucking babies on earth. Jesus. Anyway, that's pretty much my show for today. Once again, I will be streaming on Twitch today, so if you want to come in, it's September or whatever. It's goddamn September, so if you want to hit me up on Twitch, that'd be cool. Going to be doing some Doom speedruns there in a couple hours. Yeah, the people that work at the food bank are just doing their best, for sure. It's just, you know, it's just the result of our society, you know. Chickpeas with rice, also funny thing. Franco's nickname was Chickpea Face. Franco who? On account of how his face looked like that, looked in them coins. Face looked in the... There's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, you know, entitled fucking Americans, you really see, like, how entitled an American is when, like, they pull up to the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant and get told to wait for 5 minutes, you know? Like, I've known people that worked at fast food restaurants, right? And man, they've got so many fucking stories. You can tell how if a person is worth a damn or if they're a piece of garbage by their reaction to having to wait 5 minutes at a McDonald's. Like, oh, pull up for a bit, we'll get your meal. Why? Oh, because they ordered something with no pickles. So they had to make it fresh for the entitled little baby. Can't have pickles on my hamburger. By the way, can you imagine being a human being and eating fucking McDonald's, but you're not going to have pickles? The pickles are the only good part. Let's be honest. What the fuck? Fast bitch food restaurant chain. That would be good. Oh, the fucking dictator. I got you. Anyway, that's my show. Go watch Cooking with the Bitch yesterday. From yesterday. How many of my ungrateful fuckface viewers didn't watch Cooking with the Bitch yesterday? Be honest. I should do a poll for that. Did you watch Cooking with the Goddamn Bitch yesterday? Because if the answer is no, well, check it out today and I'll spare you. Anyway, 38% of my audience needs to buy themselves some canned mixed vegetables. That's what I'm thinking here. Goddamn cum. Well, if you love cum, I've got news for you. You can go to my Twitch chat and talk about cum for several hours. Probably go live. Usually I've been trying to do like 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern. But I want to get all the YouTube clips ready and done before I go live, so. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Everyone have a wonderful day. I will see you again tomorrow.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. On political corruption, we are going to restore honor to our government. In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Dub is a shit fuck, cringe tour, etc., etc.